Hello dear students, we start with respiratory system. So today we discuss the mechanism of breathing. What is breathing? Breathing means exchange of gases, inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. In case of human beings, we use different organs to perform the process of exchange of gases. Here we have respiratory system, that is respiratory tract. Again, system means sequential arrangement of various organs which we have to study in this respiratory system. Now before starting with respiratory system, let me discuss that different organisms use different parts of their body for purpose of exchange of gases. Like Pisces, fish, they use gills for exchange of gases. Then earthworm, they use skin. Earthworm use skin for exchange of gases. Insect, different insects, they use tracheae for exchange of gases. Some of the organisms have tiny pores on their organization. So they use these pores for exchange of gases like sponges. In case of human beings, the basic thing generally we used to say for breathing purpose we use lungs. But with lungs, several other organs are also there which help for exchange of gases. And all these things we study in the process of respiratory system, how the mechanism of breathing is carried out by using this system. So here, first we see respiratory system, the first organ system starts from nasal passage. Nasal passage, that is the nostril, pair of nostrils. Now these nasal passage and oral cavity both are separated with the help of bony structure, hard bony structure called as palate. This palate helps to differentiate oral region from nasal passage. So this is the nasal passage. Nasal passage, and here it is oral cavity. Now this nasal passage opens in pharynx. This passage opens in pharynx. We have studied about pharynx in digestive system also. Pharynx is a common region, common area for opening of oral cavity as well as for nasal passage. So in pharynx, there is, when pharynx, suppose this is the pharynx, region of pharynx, and now region of pharynx from here, it opens in nasal passage. So here one leaf-like structure is there. This opening of pharynx in nasal region is called as the nasopharynx. It is called as nasopharynx. And here in nasopharynx, leaf-like structure is there. Leaf-like structure is there, and this structure is called as epiglottis. This is called as epiglottis. And this region, opening of or beginning of pharynx, this region is called as glottis. What is the role of these epiglottis? The role of epiglottis is to prevent entry of food material. When we swallow, eat something, and when we swallow, that material has to go in esophagus, that is in food pipe, should not come in nasal passage. So to prevent entry of food material in the region of glottis, epiglottis is there, which is a flap-like structure and help to prevent entry of food material. Further, this pharynx continues in a windpipe, and this windpipe is called as tracheae. This is tracheae. Trachea is called as windpipe also. Before windpipe, pharynx opens in a region, that region is called as larynx. This region is called as larynx. Larynx is also called as voice box. Larynx is also called as voice box. And larynx is followed by tubular structure called as trachea. This is the region of trachea. Trachea is called as windpipe. These trachea further divides into bronchus. It divides into bronchus. These bronchus further divide into bronchioles, primary, secondary and tertiary bronchioles. And these bronchioles ends in a muscular sac-like structure called as alveoli, or we can call them alveolar sac. They are called as alveoli or alveolar sac even we can call. And these branches of bronchi is called as bronchioles. That is primary, secondary and tertiary bronchioles. These trachea is even surrounded by ring cartilage. It is surrounded by ring cartilage. These are called as the ring cartilages. First we will see this much part. Nasal passage, that is the opening of nostrils. In nasal passage, special arrangement is there. That is, the wall of nasal passage secrete mucus. This wall secretes mucus. So here, this wall secretes mucus. Wall of nasal passage secretes mucus. In this mucus, lysozyme is there. Lysozyme is present in mucus. With lysozyme, certain antimicrobial agents are also present to kill unwanted organism, microbes, which enters with air. Apart from mucus, fine hair-like structure is also present in the nasal passage. These hair-like structures are called as cilia. These cilia help for filtration. It filters the air. So mucus and cilia both help for filtration and purification of air and ensure that pure air enters in pharynx, in nasal passage. From here, air enters in and through nasopharynx it goes in, from glottis it enters in larynx. Larynx is also called as voice box. This larynx control the voice. Further, larynx opens in trachea. Trachea is a muscular part and tracheas are covered with ring cartilages. Ring cartilages are provided in trachea. Over the complete trachea, these ring cartilages are provided just to ensure the opening of trachea. Ring cartilages are there which ensures the opening of trachea. How they ensure opening of trachea? Because what happened, these ring cartilages, they surrounded the trachea, as trachea is a muscular one. So when air is not present in trachea, by the time there are chances that might be this muscular region get contract. So to ensure this trachea remain open in absence of air also, these ring cartilages, they stretch trachea and keep it open. Further, trachea divides into two parts, that is called as bronchus. And bronchus again redivided into primary, secondary and tertiary bronchioles. These bronchioles ends in sac-like structure that is called as alveoli. These alveoli are totally surrounded by blood vessels. These blood vessels complete surrounds this alveoli. Alveoli are enriched with blood vessels. And all this material or all this from trachea onwards, from bronchi, these alveoli, they spread over the surface of lungs. They spread over lungs. These are lungs, and these alveoli completely spread over the region of lungs. Attachment between these alveoli and lungs is with the help of these blood vessels. Whatever blood present in lungs, these blood passes CO2 to alveoli. Whatever oxygen enters through this system and accumulated in the alveoli, this oxygen get diffuses in the lungs through these blood capillaries or through these blood vessels. So this O2 enters in and store in alveoli, and these alveoli diffuse O2 in the blood present in lungs. So these carbon dioxide is exchanged with oxygen. Oxygen goes in, diffuse in, and carbon dioxide received by alveoli. So basic site for exchange of gases, that is CO2 and O2, is the alveolar sac, where carbon dioxide from blood enters or diffuses in alveoli, and oxygen which is accumulated and enters in alveoli, it goes in the blood which is carried out by lungs. So basic site for exchange is this alveolar sac. Here these lungs, they are covered with double membrane that is called as pleura, and this pleura is filled with fluid called as pleural fluid for part of or for the purpose of protection. Pleura provide protection to the inner organ, that is the lungs. Now this region or thoracic cavity is again have one platform, that is the diaphragm. Diaphragm provides base. Here diaphragm is present at the base of these lungs, and this diaphragm plays vital role in the process of breathing. Here in this system, what we have studied, in this system we have studied how air enters in, that is O2 enters in and CO2 goes out. How O2 enters in? O2 enters from nasal passage to pharynx, pharynx to larynx, larynx to trachea, trachea to bronchus, bronchus to bronchioli, bronchioli to alveoli. This is the passage of O2, and from alveoli to lungs. In the same way, from lungs CO2 enters in alveoli, from alveoli CO2 goes out, CO2 goes in bronchioles, from bronchioles these CO2 enters in bronchus, from bronchus these CO2 goes in trachea, from trachea it goes to larynx, from larynx it goes to pharynx, from pharynx this CO2 goes to nasal passage, from nasal passage through nostril CO2 comes out and O2 get in. This is the only passage through which these gases travel, O2 and CO2. But how the process of exchange takes place? Is lungs are performing the process of contraction and relaxation so that O2 enters in and CO2 goes out? No. The process or the mechanism of breathing is carried out with the help of these muscular tissue. This is a thick muscular tissue called as diaphragm. This diaphragm perform basic role and help for mechanism of breathing. So here, after this, we will study the structure of diaphragm and how diaphragm help for the mechanism of this system. Now to study the mechanism of diaphragm, we have to study two things, that is the rib cage and diaphragm. Why we need to study both the things? Because originally this diaphragm, this is the structure of diaphragm. This diaphragm is attached with ribs. This diaphragm is attached with ribs which form a rib cage. Generally we used to call rib cage. This rib cage is a very important part and it helps to protect the inner organ like lungs and heart. In between both the lungs the location of heart is there. So heart and lungs, these things are protected with the help of rib cage. And these rib cage, how rib cage is made? Rib cage is made with the help of central plate like bone, that is called as sternum. This is the flat bone called as sternum. And these sternum, from the back side, these rib, sternum is attached with ribs from the front side, and back side these ribs goes and attach with vertebral column, and they form cage. And inside this cage, heart and lungs are present. And below this cage, diaphragm is there. This diaphragm is muscular one. Diaphragm is thick muscular part, and attachment between these ribs, these two ribs, are attached with the help of muscles. Here muscles are there which helps to attach rib. Now these are the muscles, this movement of muscles as well as movement of muscles of diaphragm all together help for the process of contraction and relaxation. So if suppose inside this cage, the lungs are present inside this cage. Now normal position of this diaphragm is like this. Normally diaphragm remains in this position. This is the normal structure of diaphragm, and these are the ribs, that is the rib cage. This is the normal position when we are relaxed, that is the after exhalation. Okay. When we want to inhale, when we are inhaling, by the time what happened? This diaphragm moves down. It moves down. It comes down. Now when it comes down, what will happen? As soon as it comes down, if suppose this is the position of diaphragm, and now this region comes down. When this region comes down, it comes like this, and in this way this diaphragm change the position and attain the position like this. It attains the position like this, like lower level, like this. As soon as diaphragm comes down and it get expand now. So what happened? Ultimately these muscles also get contract. These muscles shows contraction from both the side. Muscles of rib cage are even getting contract. As soon as these muscles are getting contract, they moves outward, getting contract and moves outward. Now contraction and expansion of diaphragm with contraction of muscles of ribs, and these muscles moves outward. As a result it helps to increase the area of thoracic region. This is thoracic cavity. So it helps to increase area of thoracic cavity, and we are able to accumulate O2, inhale O2. After accumulation of O2, O2 diffuses in the blood. Immediately this diaphragm again goes and return back to its original position. That is, diaphragm moves up. As soon as diaphragm moves up, immediately contraction of these muscles get relaxed, and again rib cage muscles comes in original position, and as a result this thoracic cavity get contract or get reduced. Because of reduction in thoracic region or contraction in thoracic cavity, CO2 comes out. So the total movement of diaphragm control the mechanism of breathing. Respiratory system shows the pathway through which process of exchange of gases takes place. But this process of exchange of gases is totally under control of the movement of diaphragm. And diaphragm is the muscular tissue which is present at the base and is attached with base of the lungs and attached with rib cages. That is the basic thing what the process of breathing is controlled by. Here again we have to discuss one thing, that is about residual volume of air. What is residual volume of air? Residual volume of air means during one exchange of gases, during one exchange, one inhalation and one exhalation, In between this process of inhalation and exhalation, certain time is required to complete this cycle of inhalation and exhalation. So, who provide air to this system during this exchange of gases? So, this is the residual volume of air which is always present in lungs, which provide sufficient time for exchange of gases. What is residual volume of air? Residual volume of air is the air which present in lungs and provides sufficient time for exchange of gases. Like O2 and CO2 when exchange, it provides sufficient time. The main question, from atmospheric gases, we are inhaling all the gases. We are not supposed to be differentiate between oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, different gases present in environment. So, and we are talking about oxygen, that when we inhale, oxygen comes in. How oxygen only comes in? Why oxygen only comes in? What about other gases? Other gases are not enters in the nostril region. Of course, when we breathe in, by the time, naturally what is the composition of gases? All enters in during inhalation. But when it enters in the alveoli and when it reach up to the blood present in lungs, in blood RBCs are there, and in RBCs one pigment is there, iron pigment is there, and that pigment is called as hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin has high affinity with oxygen. It can easily binds with oxygen. Hemoglobin is iron pigment. That is the commonmost example we have seen. Even when anything is outside, that is iron rod. Suppose you take iron rod and keep it in your courtyard. If it comes in contact with moist air, it immediately attract towards that moist air. It attract and bind with oxygen, and slowly it get rust. So that is, it indicates that iron has high affinity with oxygen. So these iron pigment, hemoglobin, they are having high affinity with oxygen, and they bind with oxygen and carry only and only oxygen. Rest of the gases eliminate with CO2 again back during exhalation. That is the importance of pigment hemoglobin, and hence hemoglobin is called as respiratory pigment. One thing, that is the ADP and ATP. What is this ATP? We are saying that during process of respiration, energy synthesized in form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. This ATP formed by combination of adenosine diphosphate with inorganic phosphate. Inorganic phosphate, when added with adenosine diphosphate, it produces ATP, and this ATP is reserve energy utilized for various biological processes. Various biological process means here all metabolic and physical process come, like contraction of muscle, expansion of muscle, synthesis of different type of protein, synthesis of various hormones. Everything comes under this various metabolic and physical process. So everywhere we require ATP. That is about the process of respiration and breathing we have studied here. One question generally is asked by board every year, that is, why aquatic organism breathe faster than terrestrial one? What is the reason? The reason is very simple. Aquatic organism, they receive oxygen in dissolved form from water. Whatever oxygen is present in water, that dissolved form of oxygen they are getting. And because of that, this dissolved oxygen is very less. They are unable to fulfill their requirement. So to fulfill their requirement, they need more oxygen, and to receive more oxygen, they are breathing at a faster rate. Breathe very fast. We are receiving molecular oxygen, free molecular oxygen. So we are able to fulfill requirement of oxygen as per our requirement. And as a result, aquatic organism breathe faster than terrestrial. So that is about the process of breathing and process of respiration. And here we complete the important topic, that is the respiration. In the next class, we start with the new topic, that is the transportation.